Toxic weed killer in 87% of children tested. US leaders should move beyond one China policy. Pelosi plans trip to Taiwan in August. Taiwan monitors cheap Russian steel imports. China's property suppliers are boycotting loans. China tries to stop UN from releasing Xinjiang report. Environmental degradation threatening Aussie wildlife. Portugal has over 1,000 heat-related deaths.
Hello, I'm Johnny. Thank you for joining us on FUNDAY News. It's Thursday, July 21st, and here are your top stories. According to a new analysis conducted by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, about 87% of 650 children tested had detectable levels of a ubiquitous and toxic herbicide, glyphosate, in their urine. CDC researchers said that food is the main way children aged 18 and under get exposed to glyphosate. Glyphosate is the active ingredient in Bayer's Roundup. In 2021, the company announced that glyphosate would no longer be sold for residential use in the U.S. after 2023.
Glyphosate is the most widely used weed killer in conventional agriculture around the world. The presence of glyphosate in food is the result of the herbicide being used as a pre-harvest drying agent or dissectant, so crops like oats can be harvested sooner. In 2018, EWG and a number of food companies petitioned the U.S. EPA to sharply limit glyphosate residues on oats and ban its use as a dissectant. The EPA has ignored those calls, allowing U.S. farmers to continue using the crop chemical during harvest seasons.
On Tuesday 19th, an Atlantic Council delegation concluded after meetings with senior Taiwanese government officials, including President Tsai Ing-wen, that it is critically important that U.S. leaders begin a national discussion about moving beyond the one China policy. Taiwan can do a lot to help support such a move, and it would send the right signals to the world. Actions could include taking bold decisions regarding the adoption of an asymmetric defense strategy and acquiring the associated capabilities needed to deter and, if necessary, defeat Chinese military aggression.
The Council said that China's increasing coercion of and pressure on democratic Taiwan and other countries presents an opportunity for Taiwan to strengthen its position geopolitically, economically, and militarily, especially by leveraging the unprecedented unity among the democratic countries of North America and Europe, along with their allies in the Indo-Pacific. Taiwan is now on the front lines of an epic conflict between democracies and autocracies, and it must act quickly and boldly to strengthen its position.
On Tuesday, July 19th, the Financial Times said 6 people familiar with the matter and stated that Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, plans to visit Taiwan next month. The media said that Pelosi and her delegation will also visit Indonesia, Japan, Malaysia, and Singapore, and spend time in Hawaii at the headquarters of the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command. Her upcoming trip was rescheduled from original plans to visit Taiwan after going to Japan in April because she tested positive for COVID-19 at the time.
Reuters said that the news of Pelosi's visit comes just months after Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen welcomed a delegation of former U.S. officials picked by President Joe Biden, which included retired Admiral Mike Mullen, who was a former chair of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and Michelle Flournoy, who served as an Undersecretary of Defense Policy during the Obama administration. Former U.S. Defense Secretary Mark Esper and 2 colleagues from the Atlantic Council are currently on a 4-day visit to Taiwan that started on Monday, July 18th.
Bloomberg reported that Asian steel makers that monitor trade across the region found that Russia is trying to send more steel to Asia, because sanctions have blocked access to major Western markets and the war in Ukraine has disrupted Black Sea exports. Taiwan's China Steel Corporation said on Monday that it is gathering evidence in case it needs to take steps against unfair trade behaviors. Tokyo Steel stated that it believes the influx of Russian materials will have a positive impact on the region's scrap prices and improve Asian markets overall.
Iran International reported that last month that the 10th largest steel producer in the world saw its steel production decline 17.6% year-on-year in May for the second month in a row. In May, Iran's Sharq Daily reported that a member of the board of directors of Iran Steel's Producer Association stated that Russia is dumping its steel products in Asia by offering discounts of up to 15 to 20%. Due to this, Iran's traditional steel buyers, which include China, South Korea, Taiwan, and Afghanistan, are now looking to Russia for cheaper prices.
Chinese media outlet Caixin reported that on July 19th, hundreds of property contractors complained that they can no longer afford their own costs because developers, which include China Evergrande Group, still owe them money. Bloomberg said that a recent wave of contractors refusing to pay back debt is the latest proof that the impact of Chinese homeowners who have recently been refusing to pay back mortgages on shoddy, unfinished properties has spread to other areas of the Chinese economy. Homeowners started refusing to pay back mortgages in late June, and the trend has quickly moved across China, impacting at least 301 projects in about 91 cities.
The media said that Chinese authorities have urged banks to boost lending to help construction companies complete their unfinished projects, and have also considered giving homeowners a grace period on mortgage payments. Chinese banks say the risks from housing loan non-payments are controllable. Still, GF Securities expects that the boycott might impact mortgages worth 2 trillion yuan in total. Overall, Chinese banks sit on 38 trillion yuan of outstanding residential mortgages and 13 trillion yuan of loans to the country's beleaguered developers.
According to a Chinese letter seen by Reuters and confirmed by diplomats from countries who received it, China is asking Michelle Bachelet, United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, to bury a highly anticipated report on human rights violations in Xinjiang. Reuters cited 4 sources as saying the letter authored by China expressed grave concern about the Xinjiang report and aims to hold its release. Sources said that China began circulating it among diplomatic missions in Geneva starting in late June and asked countries to sign it to show their support.
Reuters said that it saw another version of China's letter, which was more critical of Bachelet's actions. The letter said that the Xinjiang report would undermine her personal credibility because it was written without mandate and in serious breach of office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights duties. It was not clear who edited the letter or why. The diplomat who signed the letter said the softer version was the final one. Reuters said that Michelle Bachelet turned 70 this year and is due to leave office on August 31st, with no successor yet nominated.
According to the latest Australian State of the Environment report, thousands of koalas were killed during the 2019 to 2020 bushfire emergency. The report also stated that it estimated between 20 and 100 species of vertebrate animals and plants are being pushed close to the brink of extinction. This includes the long-footed porturo, greater glider, kangaroo island donard, black-tailed dusky antechinus, silver-headed antechinus, and Hastings river mouse. The number of insect species that could now be facing extinction has reached 700.
The report said those numbers rose sharply after the Black Summer bushfires of 2019 to 2020 that burned millions of hectares of land and killed or displaced an estimated 1 to 3 billion animals. The iconic Great Barrier Reef suffered mass coral bleaching events in 2016, 2017, and 2020 due to marine heat waves. Bleaching occurs when the sea is too warm for too long, forcing the coral to expel microscopic symbiotic algae that gives it most of its energy and color.
Portugal reported more than 1,000 deaths due to the ongoing heat wave. Reuters reported that temperatures across drought streak in Portugal surpassed 40 degrees Celsius last week. Portugal's Director General for Health, Graça Freitas, previously reported that more than 238 deaths were due to the heat wave from July 7th to 13th. However, Freitas said that the number of fatalities has now increased to 1,063 for the period up to July 18th. The temperature in Portugal has remained high above normal levels for this time of the year.
On July 20th, Australia ABC News reported that record temperatures across Europe have claimed the lives of at least 1,500 people. A researcher at Lipson University's Faculty of Sciences, Carlos Antunes, said with climate change, it is expected that mortality rates will intensify, and the number of deaths in the future will increase. Reuters reported that high temperatures, the ongoing drought, and poor forest management have been blamed for several wildfires sweeping across Portugal.
And that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us on FUNDAY News. Let's make every day a fun day. I'm Johnny Wu, your host. I will see you next time.